Hey friends, grab a snack. Welcome back. We're here at Go Natural English talking today about how to speak English confidently. So you learned English in a classroom like most people, but when you go out into the real world, you freeze up when you have an opportunity to speak English. The cat's got your tongue. You want to speak, English is on the tip of your tongue, but it's just not coming out. Hey, I know the feeling. This happened to me when I was learning Spanish in the classroom, and then I wanted to go out into the real world and talk with people, and I was like, I know how it feels, and it's normal. So many English learners have this issue, and that's why we're here today, because I want to give you some solid tips and advice to help you to speak English with confidence. The thing is that classroom teaching, classroom learning is good, but it's not everything you need. So you need more tools, the right tools, and more practice. That's why we're here, right? At the end of this whole YouTube video, I'm actually going to give you a quiz. So not only will you learn with some tips here, but you can also use this video to practice your listening comprehension and your understanding with the quiz. If it's your first time here, then welcome. I'm Gabby Wallace. I am a native speaker. I've been teaching English as a second language for over 20 years. I'll tell you more about myself as we go, but I just wanted to say hello and welcome if you're new here. So the thing is, nowadays, we live in a world with AI. I mean, you could just go ask ChatGPT how to speak English confidently and you'd get an answer, right? But that's not why you're here, because you know that it's not just about having information, having the right answer. It's about being able to understand through experience what gives you the confidence that you need. So I'm going to share a personal story. It'll be quick. Don't worry. Then we'll get to the practical advice. But I'm a native English speaker, but I'm also a Spanish learner, a Portuguese learner, a Japanese, a French learner. I love learning other languages. So what I did learning Spanish was I learned it first in the classroom, and then I went out into the real world. I went to a local bodega, and I couldn't understand anything people were saying. I definitely couldn't speak with them. So I made a plan, right? So I started with small little bits of language. I tried to start understanding what I was hearing little by little. I gave myself little assignments working backwards from my goal of fluency and confidence in Spanish. I immersed myself in the language every chance I could get through movies, TV, music. I probably rented every single foreign DVD in the video store. Now I'm dating myself because we don't really have video rental shops anymore, but this was a while ago, okay? So I immersed myself. I would practice by myself before I would go out in the real world to speak Spanish with others. I would observe what native speakers were saying, those phrases that they use over and over. So my breakthrough with Spanish was getting out of the classroom. Now I have to give credit to my Spanish teacher because she was so cool, so helpful, and she was a good teacher, but we were in a classroom. And guess what? The classroom is not the real world. And we were using a textbook. And guess what? A textbook is not the real world. So anyway, what I try to do here is what I did for myself with Spanish. I want to do for you in English and bridge that gap, fill in the gap between what you learned in your classroom and your textbook and the real world. The number one thing that you need to know is that classroom English is not the same as real world English. Classroom English, or English as a second language or as a foreign language, will teach you the correct way to write and speak. But oftentimes, people in the real world, native speakers, do not speak correctly. I know, it's crazy, but it's true. So if you want to have confidence in your listening and your speaking skills out in the real world, you also should learn how real people and native speakers are using the language. So let me give you some hints. And the number one thing that you need is more exposure to the right English, more practice with the right phrases, more of the right information for the real world. That's what Go Natural English is all about. And to help you out, I have a membership here on the Go Natural English YouTube channel. You can join it by clicking on join, where you get a monthly live stream, question and answer time in real live time, early access to our Go Natural English lessons here on YouTube, and special guest experts that will show you how to use English like a confident, native, fluent speaker. So you can get all that at a really affordable price by joining as a member of the Go Natural English YouTube channel. And that is how you join our family of global English learners. So it's called English Insiders. That's the name of the membership, because you get an insider look into English, and you're going to be using it more and more. You're going to feel like an insider when you use English, someone on the inside of that English community, the English social circle of other English speakers. So let me get straight to the point now. Let me get straight to the point and tell you that the only way to really become fluent is to first identify what your next fluency goal is. So we know fluency is a pretty big goal, but notice that I said your next fluency goal. What is your next fluency goal? Is it being able to order coffee at a cafe? Is it being able to debate a hot topic in society? Is it public speaking? Is it an interview? What is it for you? Share with me in the comments, because honestly, knowing what your next goal in fluency is really helps me to make the next best videos for you. So identify that goal. This is what really helped me in Spanish, because like one of my first goals was to be able to order food and then talk to a taxi driver and then have a conversation with a stranger, like at a bar or a nightclub, or just someone at a store, like a neighbor, also making community through the Spanish language. Nowadays, I have different goals in Spanish. I've become fluent, and it never ends. It never stops. You can continue your fluency journey by making new goals every month, every week, every day if you want to. But the important thing is to know what you're working towards, because each person's English fluency goal is and should be a little bit different. So your English fluency goal, if you're an English teacher, would be different than a doctor's English fluency goal, or maybe someone who's just learning English as a hobby or to travel. Your fluency goals should be different. So the number one thing that you need to do is identify your next goal and then work backwards from that. Ask yourself, what am I missing? What phrases do I need to know? What is missing from my pronunciation? Maybe why aren't people understanding me if I try to use these phrases? So you work backwards from a small and specific goal. And it's okay if you're far away from that goal. I mean, the smaller the goal, the easier it will be to achieve. But the important thing is to start. So if you feel overwhelmed with your goal, then make it smaller. And then you'll see you will be moving forward if you identify your goal, you see how to close that gap, and you work on it a little bit every day. And I'm here to help you, so don't get overwhelmed. We're in this together. Okay, in an older video, I talked about how to speak English more confidently by speaking more loudly, more clearly, enunciating your words like I am now, using appropriate pauses like that one to make your English sound more dramatic and easier to listen to for your listening partner or your conversation partner. Also, eye contact, gestures. These are all things that can make you feel and appear more confident. You know, it's kind of like when I come here to make a video and I smile, even if I'm not feeling super happy or energetic, all of a sudden, because I'm just doing it, I feel happier and more energetic. So It's like the chicken or the egg. What comes first? Do you need to feel confident in order to appear confident? Or could you possibly appear confident through standing up tall or sitting up tall, speaking more loudly, and the other things that I just said, and then you might feel more confident? It's an interesting thing to think about. And I think if you can make those little changes in the way you communicate and present yourself, that you will start feeling better about yourself and your English fluency as well. So I talked more about those points in an older video, which I will link to here in the description and the comments so that you can watch that whole video. Here's a really important tip that everyone hates, but it literally will change your life. It changed mine. So grab your smartphone and record yourself speaking English. Better yet, if you can find someone else to speak English with, record yourself in a conversation. This is especially helpful if you need to have an interview, make a presentation, or anything in English. I did not realize how soft-spoken my voice sounds until I listened to myself and watched myself on video. And so how you hear yourself in your head is different than how the rest of the world hears you and sees you. So do this and it will change your life. And do it often. Check back in. How are you sounding? And make adjustments accordingly with how you want to sound. This is the easiest, most accessible, most affordable, because it's free, way to improve is to record yourself and reflect on your own English. How do you sound? If you're more of a beginner, I highly recommend to repeat after something else in English. If you're more of a higher intermediate speaker, then just speak. Just think of something, maybe talk about your day or your goals and just speak, okay? If you're more advanced, then I definitely recommend having a conversation with someone else and, asking their permission to record it. You can let them know that you're just trying to improve your fluency and your accent and whatnot, but really hearing how you interact with others can help you to level up your communication. Confidence comes when you can do something on autopilot. That means you don't have to think about it. You may have seen my older video about how to think in English. If you have not seen that yet, I'm going to link to it in the description in the comments because you should definitely check that out. You want to be able to think in English without translation. You want to be able to speak English without really thinking too much about it. And if that feels like a long ways away, like impossible, trust me, it's possible. But it is a journey. It is a process. But we get to autopilot by practicing little pieces of the language over and over until they feel easy and natural. Then you're so used to English, you won't even have to think about it anymore. It's just a part of you and your communication skills. Practice, consistency, having the right lessons and information, these are all parts of being able to speak English fluently and with confidence. But let's admit it, there's also a mental aspect to this. A lot of people are naturally shy or suffer a bit with anxiety, and that's normal. Here are some thoughts that you can replace your anxiety with to build your confidence. First of all, you have a unique perspective, and your background, your experience, your knowledge is important to someone out there. So if you're keeping it to yourself by not speaking English, then you are doing the world a disservice. That means that we need to hear your voice in English. We need you to participate in conversations and share yourself. So speak up when you have the chance. Even if you feel a bit shy, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and really understand that other people probably want to hear what you have to say. But also understand that most other people are really just focused on themselves. So they're not just watching you, waiting for you to make a mistake. That would be kind of creepy. They're actually more concerned with themselves, their own needs, and if you make a mistake, they're more concerned with their own needs and their own performance. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just move on and fix it for the next time. But don't worry too much about what other people think. The important thing is that you're constantly improving little by little. And honestly, making mistakes is a good thing in my opinion because, well, that means that you're trying out more challenging aspects of English. You're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Just try not to make the same mistake over and over. But remember, other people are really focused on themselves, not you. So, don't worry about what they think. They probably don't care as much as you think they might. And even if you do make a mistake, it's more important to show up and participate and speak in English than to wait until you can say everything perfectly. Because honestly, that's probably never gonna happen. And that's not an insult to you. I'm just saying that no one is perfect. So don't wait until you are. Okay, so again, specifically, write down this assignment for yourself. Record yourself speaking today and listen to yourself and make notes about how you can improve. Set a small next goal and write down steps for how you can work backwards from there to where you are today. How can you bridge that gap of what you know now, what you don't know, what you need to know in order to reach your goal? And if you're not sure, ask for help. Ask a teacher, a tutor, a friend, ask me in the comments. We are here to help you. Practice and repeat. Immerse yourself in as much English as possible through YouTube, through Go Natural English, through TV, Netflix, movies, music, whatever you enjoy. Whatever floats your boat. And if you do struggle with speaking confidently in English, did you know that I have a book online and in print that you can get on Amazon called the English Fluency Formula? It's not a traditional English textbook or workbook. It's more of a fluency and confidence guide. It's short, it's practical, it's fun. I'll link to it in the description and the comments also. Try to observe a lot how native speakers or fluent speakers that you admire speak in conversation. So I did this a lot when I was learning Portuguese in Brazil because I never took a formal Portuguese class, but I consider myself fairly fluent. I was able to observe what other people were saying in conversation. So little phrases that I would pick up really helped my fluency and my confidence. Like, acho que sim, I believe so. I don't usually say this phrase in English. It just doesn't feel natural to me. It's not incorrect, but I heard it a lot more often in Portuguese than I would hear it, the literal translation in English. So I started to pick it up and use it in my conversations. Also, if you have some favorite phrases or idioms, you might want to see if there's a direct translation in English. Oftentimes, there's not. But, for example, earlier I said, if it floats your boat, or whatever floats your boat. So in Portuguese, I learned that phrase was minha praia. Não é minha praia. It doesn't float my boat. So it's not my cup of tea is another one in English. So fun phrases like that can really make your fluency journey more interesting and fun. Just remember, you don't have to be perfect. No one is perfect, okay? So don't wait until you feel like your English is perfect or you're just going to feel stuck because you're waiting for this moment that really never comes. And I'm not insulting you again. I'm just saying that no one is perfect. Like, native English speakers aren't perfect. You're just gonna have to keep making mistakes and be okay with it, but improving little by little. Having confidence in speaking English isn't something that comes instantly, but there are certain practices that you can do. There are certain instant adjustments that you can do to feel and appear more confident in your English. And confidence is a big part of communication, but it's not everything because, of course, you could have total confidence and also be completely incorrect. But I believe that true confidence comes from being able to communicate your ideas, to express your ideas clearly. And so you have to have some degree of correct English in order to do that. It is especially important that you are here. you are watching this, I believe, outside of your English class. If you're watching this in your English class, that's great too. Thank you, teacher, for putting this on for your students. But I want you to think about the fact that, and you might not like this, and it took me a while to really grasp this fact, that learning in the classroom is like 1% of your actual learning. In life, we learn a lot outside the classroom. If you're really interested in a topic, if you really want to be fluent and confident in your speaking, then you have to practice it outside of the classroom as well. That could mean a lot of different things. That could mean watching Go Natural English here, joining the English Insiders membership. It could mean going to the bookstore or Amazon to get some books in English that you enjoy. It could mean a lot of different things. I don't think I have to spell out every different way. Actually, maybe I should, but in another video for the sake of time. Let me know if you'd like to have that video about different ways to practice your English. It could be fun. But the important thing is to take your learning into your own hands and consider all the different wonderful ways of learning in life. Okay, it's quiz time. So take a quick quiz with me to practice your listening comprehension. These are going to be true, false. Number 1, wait to speak English until you can speak in long, perfect sentences. Okay, we're gonna move on and do 5 questions, and then I'll tell you the answers. 2, I don't recommend recording yourself because listening to your own voice can be really embarrassing and make you feel less confident. 3, and remember these are true or false. 3, speaking confidently comes 99% from what you do in your English class. 4, if you set a specific and small English fluency goal and work towards that, it can really boost your confidence. 5, not everyone is born feeling confident in their communication, even native speakers, so it's something that we all can work towards together. Okay, the answers, number 1, 2, and 3 are false, 4 and 5 are true. So it's false that you should wait to speak until your English is perfect. It's also false that I don't recommend recording yourself. I definitely recommend recording yourself, even if you feel embarrassed. You'll get over it because it's for a good purpose. And speaking confidently comes a lot from outside of your English class. So that was false. If you set a specific fluency goal, it's true. That can help you with your confidence. And finally, it's true that a lot of people are not born with confidence in speaking English, so it's something we're all working towards. Well, if you have questions, if you have other tips and advice for speaking English confidently, then make sure to leave them in the comments. And if you want more practice, if you want to be more involved and get priority responses to your questions and comments, then become a member of the Go Natural English channel. Click on join, and I'll see you in English Insiders. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.